The discovery of the second brain made a little splash back when it was first announced 20 years ago. But while interesting, it's still being talked about in very nerdy medical terms that don't really resonate with the rest of us. We love science, but sadly, that's the way some scientific progress goes. I was 17 when I watched the first moon landing on TV. It was a fairly big deal. It was supposed to have changed our lives, but did it? Not really. After all, when that first man stepped from the spacecraft onto the moon's surface, I saw in real time who it was. And it wasn't you, and it sure wasn't me. But the fact that we have an extra brain is different. It's about what's behind an encounter that we've all had one time or another with a mystery. Ever had a gut feeling about something and it turned out to be right? How about a slight urging to go in a different direction than you had intended, and it proved to be better than you had planned? Or a hunch, a perception, a glimmer of insight that came from nowhere but changed everything. That's the kind of smarts the gut brain delivers. That's your second brain at work. You can come to trust it. But the hidden powers of the extra little brain and how we might gain access to more of them had never been properly explained. While you and I want quick solutions to everyday problems that hold us back and cause us grief, scientists want to talk about microbes and neurons. And all those self-help gurus? Don't even get me started on those guys. None of them are ever going to tell you anything about how this extra brain fits into the self-development mix. Why? Because they simply haven't clued into the fact that we humans do two things all day, every day. We think things and we feel things. You know where the thinking happens. It's the domain of our head brain. But it can't feel a darn thing. There are no pain receptors in the head brain at all. But in the gut brain, feeling is all it's designed to do, and it does it brilliantly. It feels everything, from our deepest sorrows to our greatest joys. And the most useful is the fact that it can detect the one thing that causes success in anything. You know it as grit. Grit gives us the traction that we can use to bulldoze through any difficulty. It's that persistent nature that drags us through our trials when our head brain thinking wants us to quit because it's trying to protect us. Going forward is scary, and it looks dangerous. Too much of a strain. The head brain can't see what the gut brain can be made to feel and identify clearly. The wellspring of our persistence. It's the one thing that, if you're lucky, appears out of nowhere. It overrides your tendency to run away from a challenge with a silent voice that says, "Give it one more try." The big news is that there's a quarry of grit inside of you that can be locked into in just one day. When you do that, it makes it easier to draw on whenever you need to. More grit equals more success. More success equals greater self-belief. But you need to use a special tool to get there. That's my long suit. It's a simple immersion exercise that I devised that's so focused, it only uses around the same number of words as Lincoln's famous Gettysburg Address. I'll be showing you how it works in this free masterclass. But meanwhile, know this. Your second brain is strange. It hardly fits the label of being called a brain at all. But that doesn't change the fact that this is probably the most important biological, personal development discovery of our time. I'm David Parsons, and I've been helping people optimize this new dual brain system most of my adult life. When I started, no one had any idea that what we were dealing with was an actual brain. It wasn't until 1996 when everything changed. A cell biologist published a book that proved it existed. Then all the pieces fell into place. The gut brain impacts your life in more ways than you'll know. And in this masterclass, you'll learn all about how it can make you happier, healthier, and instill in you a positive self-belief that won't ever quit. It really is the brain that saves you. Join the free masterclass now and find out why this is the time where you can finally stop trying to improve yourself like it's 1950. Click the button down below to reserve your place. See you in class.